welcome to Razzmatazz with Rashi. Today we have with us Sakshi Varma. She's an author, a blogger, a finance professional, and a mother to three lovely boys. So in this episode, we'll get to know more about Sakshi and her journey. So welcome, Sakshi. How are you?
Hi, Rashi. Thanks for having me here. I'm good and looking forward to talking to you.
Yes. So tell us something about yourself.
So I think I have multiple facets. I am a development finance professional and have been working for almost 20 years, which is a bit shocking when you say 20. But yes, I have. It's been a very interesting career, a lot of travel, a lot of work. So, great. Yeah. I'm also a mom of three boys, like you said, and I'm wife to a design entrepreneur. So I'm also sort of being an entrepreneur on the side by living his life with him. So that's another sort of thrill. And my most recent avatar has been as a blogger and an author. So that's sort of a 3-year-old stint that I've had, which I'm really enjoying. So so that's me.
So we'll begin with your, finance career that you have taken some very steps, like those are very encouraging and inspiring steps that you have taken in terms of shaping your career. So tell us more about that.
Right. So I think since the time I was a child, I was very, very interested in kind of, rural development or, doing something on the lines of, poverty alleviation and so on. So I think as I chose my career, I did economics honors and then I decided to do rural management. I went to IRMA in Anand, which is a management institute focused on rural management. So I did that and then my career sort of got into rural finance and so on. So that's why it's been very interesting from, going to the villages of India and even other countries. And then sort of on the other end, meeting the high level finance professionals or development finance professionals across the globe. It's been a very, very interesting career. And the one aspect I've loved apart, of course, from the work is the amount of travel I've had to do. And it's given me a lot of perspective in life. So I think it's been great. And I've had a very, very supportive family in the sense that, my son was less than a year when I started traveling, and my husband was perfectly supportive of that. And then I had my parents, in-laws, everyone supporting me. Even before that, there was a time when I moved to HSBC Bank in Bombay while my husband was in Delhi. And so for a year and a half, we lived separately, each focusing on our career. This was before the baby. So it's been really good because, we've both kind of tried to support each other in, each other's work. And then I think the toughest choice that I had was, I think, in 2018, when I applied for a position outside of India. Knowing very well that by then I had 3 kids, one of who has special needs, and the fact that my husband could not move because he has his own business in India, so he could move. The family said, okay, go for it. I applied and got through. And so in 2019, I moved to Almaty in Kazakhstan. So it's been very interesting. And I think it's a step a lot of men take. So you'll hear a lot of family where the father is working out and the kids are growing up with the mother, but you wouldn't have heard the opposite.
Especially so after kids, even mothers themselves don't want to go, but you have taken that daring steps, and that will be like, it will encourage many women that yes, we can handle it, we can do that.
Exactly. And a lot of times I would think, people will say, kaisi maa hai apne bachcho ko chhod ke chali gayi, sort of a thing,
People
no one
will
will say that
keep
for the
telling
father.
something or the other.
Exactly. But then I did. And then I think in a few months, my older son, who was 9 at that time, he joined me in Almaty. And then it was sort of single parenting. So it's been very interesting. Right now, I have all the 3 kids here with me. But the point is that it was, the entire family was supportive. And I think it's been great for us.
That matters a lot. True. Yeah. So out of all this, how did the writing happen? So when did you start writing?
So writing, my family is sort of a family of writers. So either academic books, my grandfather was a professor, so he has books to his name. My grandmother wrote short stories. And so in a way, and both grandmothers, by the way, Nani and Dadi both. So nice. In that sense, it's sort of in the blood. But But my mom used to keep telling me to write, and I never sort of thought of writing. I said, "No, I can't do that." I was busy with my reports and assignments. Writing that was more than enough. But so in 2016 end, I had my twins, and they were premature. And I think in 2017, we discovered that one of them actually had special needs. So it was obviously a devastating time. It was very tough. And I literally scoured the internet. So apart from looking at his condition and so on, I also sort of went on the net about people who had kids like this to understand the lives of, because at that time we didn't know
similar cases.
Exactly. So we had no idea what life has in store for us. So I read a lot, and I noticed that there were very few people from India or even South Asia who wrote about their experiences. So you'll see people writing about, mostly it's the West, America, Europe, people sharing experiences. And I felt that, there's a need for me to also write. So I have got a lot of sometimes. Yes. So spread awareness also for people, who want to find some solace or find people like themselves. I decided to write. So that's how I think in January of 2018, I posted my first blog post ever. And since then, it's not, it's been no looking back. I wanted to write about disability, but I realized I actually had a lot of other things to write about as well. So since then, it's become quite a passion. And I ended up also authoring a book last year. I was hoping to do one more this year, but it's been very tough with the pandemic and so on. But let's see, there's still some months left in this year. So
you're good. You're consistent with your blogging. You also won the Orange Star Award for your blogging, right? What was that about?
This year. So one of the series I started on my blog was inspiring women, and you'll see around Women's Day and otherwise, you always get to hear about, all the top achievers. So say, all your prime ministers or the top actresses or top scientists, but they're all top people. Celebrities. But for you and me, I feel those stories can inspire younger girls a lot as to what they can achieve. But women in 20s, 30s, 40s, we are at a stage where we are not looking at new goals, but we are struggling with our own lives. So I decided to start writing about women like ourselves. So it was all women around me. So somebody who, so like me, there was a colleague who had a special needs child. So her daughter is around my age. So I wrote about her, how she led her life. Or I wrote about a lady who lost her husband when her child was 5. Or somebody else who built a career, despite many problems and so on. So that's the whole thing. And the story that I won my award was about this lady doctor. She's basically like my grandmother. And in setting up medical services in a small town, Rewari, back in the 60s was what I wrote about. And, how tough their lives were and how
good that you are bringing those stories. We are getting to read more about the inspiring women we have around us. That's really nice.
Yes.
So your motherhood journey, I would say, like parenting journey itself had been like full of ups and downs. So give us some, share your experience with us.
So I think the first one, very easily conceived, no issues, lovely baby. He didn't make me stay up at nights. Never really cried too much. So perfect, right? So it was great. And we just, my husband and I, we loved, being parents to him. So he came 5 years after our marriage. By then, I think we had enough of each other also. So it's good to, have a baby to care for. So it was really awesome. And, but I think by the time he was 4, 5, we got a sense that, we should start thinking about a second. And, sort of indirect demands from him also started to come, or, when we would see how he got busy with other kids, smaller kids and so on. So we started trying. Unfortunately, this time we weren't so lucky, right? So I think I tried for almost a year, but no results. And then maybe I'm a little obsessive. Ki bhai dimag mein aa gaya, to let's, go do that or whatever. So so we went to doctors and they suggested IVF. And so I decided to go for that. And I know a lot of people would question that, you already have one child. Honestly, IVF is not. So what's the obsession, or why can't you just stay with one? But I don't know. I was keen on a second. So IVF is not easy on a woman's body at all. And especially, couples who've not had even one baby, when they go through cycle after cycle, it's tough. It's mentally, physically really tough. But I went through that. I also realized that if in one go it doesn't happen, probably I didn't have the courage in me to go through it again. But touch wood, it did happen. And we ended up conceiving twins. But this pregnancy, So this pregnancy was tough. Of course, it was IVF and so on. Twin pregnancy anyway. I'm sort of small in size, so I was asked to do a
bed rest,
not bed rest, but basically stay at home. But still, I sort of went into labor 2 months early. And the twins were born. One of them came home in 8 days. They had to stay in the ICU for some time. The other one was really small, so he stayed for almost a month. So, and that was 2017. And I think that year was really, really tough because taking care of twins is not easy. Taking care of premature twins is even more difficult. And then I think when we discovered that one of them actually, he basically sustained brain damage during the time of his birth. So since then it was, and even difficult. Now, it's tough. It's not easy because, emotionally it's tough. You see other children, you see your own child, his twin who's perfect, and the other one, he's still not able to stand or walk or even sit properly. So it's tough, but you get what you get in life and then you manage it. So so that's where we are.
It's more about accepting, like, yes, it has happened, so we have to move forward with this.
Yes, exactly. It's like the cards you are dealt and then you manage with that. You try your best to do whatever you can. So
you've come up with a book also. So is it more on your parenting journey or what is it about?
So it's not my parenting journey, but yes, the book is about parenting. And so last year, so basically once I became a blogger, I tried to get into blogger communities, and I heard about this challenge called the A to Z challenge. There's a platform called Blog Chatter. So I thought, let me do that because, since I'm working, it's not been easy to do regular blogging. So I think in 2018, that was the first year I blogged a lot, but 2019, there were months when I didn't blog. So I thought, let me discipline myself. And to do that, I decided to join this, and I thought I'll write about parenting because, that's something I sort of like writing about. So I wrote those 26 blogs on raising capable children. Where basically I was trying to write about my own philosophy of how to raise, your children. And that then went on to become a book. And so, again, it was not something I expected when I started the challenge in April, but by September, I was an author. Nice. So that was very interesting.
So would you like to read some lines for us?
Yeah, sure. So I think this is the book,
great.
that I came out with.
And
why I picked up the topic was because, you've heard a lot about different types of parenting. And I think most of the Asian parents are the helicopter parents kinds, like literally on our children's head.
Protect everything.
As much as we can, we would like to decide for them what they do, how they do, and so on and so forth. Right? But my philosophy is slightly different. I kind of believe in raising the children in a manner that they are able to take care of themselves in the world. So they should be capable enough to make their own choices. They should be capable enough to, withstand tough situations because they will come. As a parent, I don't know what are the problems my child will face 10 years, 20 years from now, but I need to make sure that because
they should be independent enough to take their decision and take care of themselves.
Learn to handle failure and so on. So that's the entire philosophy that I've sort of tried to, talk about. So let me read a little bit from this. So I've sort of divided the book into 3 aspects on the values that we should instill in children, the attitudes, and finally the sort of skills that they need to have. And in values, I talk about honesty, responsibility, having a drive for excellence, compassion, being inclusive. In terms of attitudes, talking about self-esteem, developing discipline, courage of conviction, and so on. So, of course, there are about 23 chapters. I can't talk about all of them. But I just want to pick up a few lines. One is that I think, and this is the part where I even start, I tell the parent that before you start to read the book, you should keep a few things in mind. One is understand your own self.
Yeah.
And because how we act as parents depends a lot on the kind of people we are ourselves, right? And what is important to me, what I want from life, what is my aspiration or disappointment, all of that actually then flows through our parenting style. So I've seen myself, I mean, I love buying books and Lego for my child because, that is something I love.
Okay.
Right? It's a very small thing.
Yes.
Or I loved to, I wanted to act a lot. So I was really keen that my son, gets into dramatics, which he didn't, which is fine. But, so, or the things I feel, where I'm not good at, I would prefer that he doesn't have the same problem or, same failures. So it's very important to understand ourselves and how that has affected our parenting style.
Yes.
The second is understanding your child, because you need to understand that you are not your child, and your child is a very different person. From whom.
True.
So, unless we know what is it that they like or how they behave, I might be a very outgoing person, but my child might not. So I can't expect that from.
And you can't even force them.
I can't force them. I shouldn't force them.
Yes.
I shouldn't be forcing them to become something that they are not.
They're not.
Right?
Yeah.
Of course, sometimes I feel that my son doesn't have as much drive as he should have, and it keeps bothering me, honestly.
Yeah.
But there are times I have to stop myself from pushing him, because hopefully when he finds a passion, he will get that drive.
Yes.
So I need to
just wait for the right time.
Exactly, right. So those are the two things I write about. And then the fact that no one is perfect. So we are not perfect, our children are not perfect, and just by writing a book, I have not become perfect, right, at parenting. I'm going to continue making mistakes, and by reading it,
exactly,
no one is going to. But these are just sort of guidelines. And just a para I want to read from the book. We are all the same in that we are all unique. Each one of us is unique in our looks, appearance, habits, characteristics, nature, and behavior. And we are a combination of our personality, perspectives, attitudes, experience, knowledge, and emotions. So we have different talents, goals, hobbies, passion, tastes, and the mix of all of these then becomes one person, each different from the other. So, but despite that, as a society, we prefer everyone to conform to the same norms, behaviors, and attitudes. Perhaps because it doesn't lead to confrontations, or maybe just the fact that being part of a crowd gives one some sort of a security. There is too much risk in doing something different and then failing or getting negative feedback from others. What will people say or do is the biggest worry that keeps people from being different. So here I talk about the fact that we are all different, but we want to be the same. And we want our children to be the same as well. So my appeal to you as parents is to celebrate and encourage your child's uniqueness by understanding what makes your children tick and supporting them to explore who they really are and find their talents. You will help them reach their full potential. Give your children a safe atmosphere to explore, make mistakes, take risks, and develop their confidence. Just remember that your children are individuals, and by letting them accept themselves as they are and encouraging them to go for what they want to do in life, we are helping set the backdrop for an individual who is content with his or her choices and willing to follow their passion. So a little bit what Three Idiots also talks about. Mera beta engineer banega doesn't always work. Exactly. And should not work. True. So that's just it. But I would really encourage people or parents to, buy this book, go through it. Definitely. A lot of people who read the blogs also said that a lot of this could be applicable even to us. Yes. Some of the things that I've talked about. So the book is available on Amazon, Flipkart, First Cry. So okay, great. So we'll be sharing all the links in the description of this video. So definitely give a read and visit her books and her blogs as well. She writes something very fantastic stuff there. So where do you get the inspiration to write from? I don't know. It's generally a lot of things that are happening around me. I mean, apart from the bit on disability, which is a lot of personal experiences.
Yeah.
A lot of what I write about either comes from my personal experiences or what I see happening around. Right. So, like after becoming a blogger, I also became a member of a lot of parent or mother groups. Just to see what is going on. So, so this whole inspiring women thing came from there. The kind of issues women talk about, problems they have, and then it sort of sets me thinking on how I could write about some of those topics. So, so typically that's how
Nice.
Yeah, gender equality is a big thing for me. So you keep seeing that come through a lot of my blogs.
True. So apart from writing and your career and everything, what is that one thing that you're really passionate about? What you love to do?
So between work, kids, and blogging, I don't have much time left for a lot of stuff. But as a kid, I used to paint, draw, and paint a lot. And that's something that's been lost for years. But I have an uncle, my mama, who started to paint literally every day. For the last few years, he's been doing that. And now my mother has picked up on that. So she's living here with me. And just looking at her paint and whatever, I'm getting that itch. I'm getting that itch again. So let's see if maybe one of these weekends I'll probably get to.
Great. That's a great idea. Painting every day. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I can't do that, but once in a while, let's see if I can. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So we'll end this episode with one fun question for you. And that is that if you wake up as some other blogger or writer or some of your friends, then who would that be and what would you do?
Interesting. So actually, thanks to this, especially last year, the blog chatter thing, I got introduced to a whole, the entire community of bloggers.
Blogging community.
And I've come across so many, so many whose work I like and so on. So, one is Radhika Acharya. So she writes this, these blogs about Kamalamma.
Yes.
And I love reading them.
Oh, yes.
I like humor and I want to write humor, but somehow or the other, whatever I write ends up becoming really serious or very, and I really wish I could write fun stuff as well.
Yes,
so, Yes, exactly. I really like the way she picks up on nuances. And it's not easy writing humor at all. I think it's easier writing serious stuff. But humor is a skill. So, so she's one.
And she's an expert in that.
Yeah, she's really good. The other person I really admire is Alpana Deo. And I've not, so she has this podcast. Of course, I love her voice. But I like the topics she picks up. I'm a better reader than listener, so I would have listened to lesser podcasts. But whatever I've heard is really nice, and this is something that I also, again, given time or whatever, someday perhaps I would like to explore that. So
podcast also,
plus the fact that she's doing in regional languages. Again, focus increasing on English. Regional languages and Hindi are sort of taking a backseat, at least in our kind of background. So these are the two people who I really like.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Sakshi. Thank you for taking our time and coming here once again. It was lovely having you.
Thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Yeah.